guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday 19th of August and we are just getting ready to go down to Devon for our family holiday this week. It's been a couple of days since I spoke to you. I'll link the first part of this vlog in the description if you haven't seen it. But I took a couple of days off of sit down chatty bits. I've just been feeling a little bit burnt out. I think it's because I've been vlogging so much and I spent a good chunk of last weekend or the weekend before last week filming content for August and September. So it's been a couple of days since I spoke to you. I had a lovely time at my early family birthday party. It was for me and my mother-in-law. Her birthday was yesterday, so we always share our kind of family celebration. I didn't take any footage, I was too busy having fun, but I'll put a picture here of the amazing cake that she made me with our 3 black cats on top of it. I absolutely loved it. Had a few presents, I'm going to show you a couple of those in a minute. And then yesterday we got Charlie, he'd been with his mum down in Cornwall, and we went again over to see Nanny on her actual birthday so that he could give her some presents and have some cake and all that stuff. And today, like I said, we're off down to Devon. We're going to Bideford, and we're taking one of his best friends with us, which will be really fun. The weather, however, looks terrible. Looks like it's going to be wet all week, which won't bother them. In case you're new here, Charlie is my 14-year-old stepson, and so they'll be fine. It does look like March outside rather than August, but anyway, we'll see what we get in the week. We're staying in another Airbnb, so as usual I'll leave the link for that in the description in case you're interested. But we've rented a cottage in the grounds of a kind of country house hotel, and we picked it because there are 3 like cottages and a little terrace in the grounds, and that has access to an outdoor pool, and Charlie is such a water kid. All he wants to be really is in the water. So that's why we picked it. Plus it looks, comfortable and all that stuff. And because there's 2 of them, they can kind of go off and have a bit of independence from us. So it should be a good fun week. We've got a few things planned. You won't see the boys here. I don't show Charlie or anybody else's kids without their permission anyway. So you won't see them, but we're going to go off and have a nice family time. My 31 and 31 is going really, really well. It is, like I said, it's the 19th and I'm currently on 19 books finished. So I hopefully will finish book 20 today and be slightly ahead. So the last 3 books that I have read that I need to tell you about are as follows. So first of all, I read Do Your Worst by Rosie Dannon. Lovely Chloe gifted me this for Christmas. And I read Rosie Dannon before. I read The Roommate, absolutely loved it at the time, gave it 5 stars, then read the follow-up, which is The Intimacy Experiment, and DNF'd it because I was so bored. So this, I was like, this could go either way. And this one is, we're following Riley, who is a supernatural... she's a curse breaker? Yeah, she's a curse breaker. And she takes a job, she's American, she takes a job at Scottish Castle where she meets Clark, who is an archaeologist who's working on the site. And they kind of clash immediately because he doesn't believe in curses. So it's kind of a enemies to lovers type situation. They kind of, she's trying to break the curse. He is it gets a little bit messy along the way. That's kind of all I'll say. It says at the top here, break curses, not hearts. I gave this 3.5. I personally think that Rosie Dannon writes spicy scenes really well. This is very spicy. I feel like she does that really well, but some of this got a little bit ridiculous, and I obviously can't talk about it without using spoilers. But I felt like some of this was just a little bit silly. I did like some of what she was trying to do, but I have a feeling that I will forget about this one fairly quickly. So it was a 3.5. It was enjoyable. It was a quick read. Like I said, the spicy scenes were fun. The chemistry between the characters was good. There were some funny moments. There were some heartfelt moments. It was fine. It's just not a new favourite. So that was a 3.5. Then yesterday I read The Shelf by Helly Acton. You can see I've got this very beaten up copy from a charity shop trip when I was up with Charlotte earlier on in the year. In this one we are following excuse me, we're following Amy, who's been with a boyfriend for 2 years, and he tells her that he's going to take her away on holiday, and she's convinced he's going to propose. Instead, what he does is he dumps her live on TV and enters her into this kind of Big Brother type competition, which is called The Shelf, where there are 6 women who have to be in this house for a month and be taught how to be good partners. I gave this 4 stars. I did give this 4 stars, but I'm still a little bit unsure on my rating for this book because I haven't quite worked out yet how I feel about it. So I might change my rating as we go through the month, but we'll see. the amount of diet culture references nearly made me throw this across the room in the first sort of 10 pages, to be honest. I nearly DNF'd it straight away. Let me see if I can find the first line. Yeah, so this is the first line. Amy Wright is lying in bed, staring at herself in the mirror on the wall and counting her chins. And I was like, what is this? However, Charlotte gave this 5 stars, so I was like, she really liked this, there must be a reason. And I'm really glad that for once I pushed through and read it and didn't just DNF it at the first sign of something I didn't like, because this actually has got a lot to say about the pressure that's put on women, about relationships, toxic relationships, gaslighting, all of that stuff, but also female friendships and the kind of ways that you can kind of find yourself by being by yourself, if that makes any sense. So I ended up really cheering for Amy and really liking it. I felt like the end was rushed and it was really predictable how this was going to go. And I felt like there were certain characters who didn't get enough comeuppance, let's put it that way. But I enjoyed it. Again, it was another quick read. I would definitely read more from Helly Acton. She's got another one out called The Couple, which I'm quite interested in because that sounds vaguely dystopian as well. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. And yeah, I am glad I read it, but I am still a little unsure on how exactly I felt about it, but we'll say 4 stars for now. And then yesterday and this morning I read the first of the Mallory Towers series, which is first term at Mallory Towers. I think this is a bind up with the first 3 books in it. I'm going to be reading the others. As you can see, I've left my bookmark in because it's one of mine, obviously, middle grade era, because I'm going to read the next 2 books in this bind up over the next couple of days. I read these as a kid, so this was really nostalgic to me to be back with Daryl. The first book is mostly a really long exposition where you meet all the characters and it's kind of setting up what will be the conflicts. But it was obviously a book I'm really, really familiar with. I read it a bunch of times as a kid. I gave it 4 stars. It was nostalgic, it was fun, it was happy, I was happy and comfortable being back with the characters, and I'm more excited for the second and third books. So yeah, that was a good start to my reread of Mallory Towers. So those are the 3 books that I've read. I wanted to quickly show you some of the gifts that I had from my in-laws, because there's one in particular I'm very excited about. First of all, my mother and father-in-law got me an Amazon voucher, always a good shout. And then my sister and brother and sister-in-law even, picked me this magnetic bookmark, and it says "Not Meow, I'm reading," and it's obviously got the little black hats on it, so obviously love that. And then they gave me this, and I've added this might sound like a weird thing to add to my TBR, but bear with me. They got me this Recipes from the World of Tolkien inspired by the legends, and it's written by Robert Chewsley Anderson. Look at this, you can literally eat like a hobbit. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. At some point, like I said, I've added this to my TBR, I think in September. It's all like illustrated. I'm trying to find you a really good illustration. Look. So I'm planning to do, and had been planning to do anyway, a vlog where I eat like a hobbit for a day or 2. Look. And so I'm going to use this to do it. So in September, you'll see me read this, because I need to read this, choose recipes, and then in October half term, I'll have some time to film a vlog. So this will be my vlog that I film in October, and I'm so excited about this. I love this, and it's just a brilliant idea. And each, like, the recipes are broken into sections, obviously in the way that hobbits eat. So we have breakfast, second breakfast, 11s, luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, and drinks. And I'm fully obsessed with this. Like, this is one of the best things ever. So yeah, you'll see me read this in September. And I was like, should I put it on my TBR? But I am going to literally sit and read it cover to cover, and tab the recipes I'm going to try for that vlog. And yeah, this, if you've got a Tolkien lover in your life, I feel like this is a really good idea for a present. So that's you caught up. I need to move myself because we need to be out of here in the next sort of hour or so, and I haven't done anything yet. So I need to go and pack, tidy up the house, set everything up for the cats, because the in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, come in to stay whilst we're away. And then we're going to scoop 2 teenage boys up, hit the road, and go on holiday. It's the 24th of August, and this is going to be the chaotic clip of all chaotic clips. You are sat in our glasses cupboard. Got Sav and Jack here waiting for their breakfast. And I haven't spoken much this morning. Now, in the normal way of things, I'm going to chat to you whilst I make their breakfast. In the normal way of things, I would be coming in to tell you about the 5 books I've read since I've seen you, and tell you about our week in Devon with the boys, which was lovely. And I will do both of those things, but probably in the next clip that I'm at home. Because last night as we drove home, my wonderful husband turned to me and said, I'm going to give you a birthday present early, because it's like 4 or 5 days to my birthday. And I'm going to take you away tomorrow for 2 nights. And I'm not going to tell you where we're going. So all I know is that I had to do a very quick round of laundry yesterday. I'm just, Sav has to have an antihistamine in the mornings. Yeah, so all I know is that we're going away for 2 days. I don't need a passport. And it's now 7:20 in the morning, and we're leaving in about 10 minutes because apparently it's a bit of a drive. I know nothing else. That's all I know about what's happening today. Sorry, I have to concentrate a little bit on this so that I don't throw her tablet everywhere. So yeah, that is everything that I know. So I wanted to just jump in to tell you what's happening, but also just to break up the B-roll, because you'll have had B-roll from Devon, and now you'll have B-roll from wherever it is we're going. Reading's going okay. I have hit a bit of a reading wall, which was bound to happen at some point. I am still on track just about today, but I don't know what we're doing today, and apparently, like I said, we've got a bit of a drive, and I can't read in the car, so this may be where I fall off the challenge, but we will see. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to tell you right now. I've got 2 very hungry cats. I don't know where the third is. Should be about somewhere. Hello, Jack. I don't know if you can hear him shouting at me down there. And yeah, it's very exciting. I am not very good at surprises, like receiving surprises. Gary's one of the few people that I trust enough to be excited to surprise me. And yeah, I can't wait to see what he's picked. So you'll see it in the B-roll, and then I'll come back to you and chat probably when we get back Monday. But for now, I've got some very hungry kitty cats who need their breakfast. I need to finish packing, and then we're going on a magical mystery tour. It's the 27th of August, and settle in for this clip because it's been about a week, I think, since I sat and properly talked to you and gave book reviews and stuff and updates, and I have a lot to tell you. So let's try and think back to where I need to talk to you about. So we took the boys to Devon. We had a really lovely time, as you saw from the B-roll. The place that we were staying at was really good, really well equipped, lots of space. The swimming pool was really nice. The weather was terrible, really bad. It rained every single day, really hard a lot of the time. I think in some of the B-roll you can see blue sky, but that was like literally lasted for a few minutes and then it would rain again. However, that did not put the boys off from using the pool and the hot tub. And we had a good time in the games room. And yeah, we went and did a few things. The boys did a water assault course and we went clay pigeon shooting. Which was nice, and we had some lovely meals out, as you saw. We went to the beach one day, the seaside one day, went to the arcades, got fish and chips and ice cream and stuff. So yeah, it was a really good week. Just some nice family time. And it, like I said, the place we stayed at was ideal because the boys could go off and do their own thing and be independent, but we knew they were safe. So yeah, it was a good week. And then you obviously saw my brief clip of me in the kitchen on Saturday morning before we left, and then the husband took me away, and just was just one of the best surprises ever. In case you are new here, I am a huge Shakespeare nerd. I have read all the plays, I have read his poetry and the sonnets and all of that stuff, and I love Shakespeare and I teach Shakespeare, and it's my favourite thing is to teach Shakespeare plays. And kind of get kids excited about them and unlock the language and all that stuff. And Much Ado About Nothing is my absolute favourite of all the plays. In case you don't know it, it's one of his comedies, and I love the wordplay, the banter. If you are someone who enjoys enemies to lovers romance books, you should read Much Ado About Nothing or listen to an audiobook or watch the film. There's a really good film with Emma Thompson and Kenneth Branagh from the 90s. It's also got Keanu Reeves in it and a very young Kate Beckinsale. I would just highly recommend it because it is an enemies to lovers story. And I love all of the wordplay and the back and forth. Beatrice is my favourite Shakespeare character, I think. It's between her and Lady Macbeth. But I love Beatrice. And just seeing it brought to life at the Globe, at the home of Shakespeare, it was overwhelming. And yeah, it was such a good surprise, and we had fantastic seats. I felt very fancy because my husband had also rented cushions, and if you know anything about Shakespeare in London, you'll know that only the really posh rich people got cushions. It did rain during the performance. We were under the roof because we were in the stands, but I did feel for the people that were stood as the groundlings down in front of the stage, although they all had like waterproofs and umbrellas and stuff and seemed to still be very much enjoying it, so I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, the cast were fantastic. I've seen Much Ado done a few times. It was easily the best performance of it I've ever seen, and it was just a lot of fun. And then we went from there and drove out of the city and went, as again you'll have seen from the B-roll, to a beautiful Airbnb that Gary had found, and we had a lovely lazy couple of days just sleeping and eating, and we went to a lovely pub for a roast on the Sunday and just lazing around and reading because I've got 9 books to tell you about. And then yeah, I got back yesterday. I've kind of given myself a couple of days off of vlogging and filming. As always happens to me towards the end of the month, I kind of get like vlogging fatigue, but took a couple of days off. And yesterday was just for housework and various chores and getting ourselves organised. And now it's Tuesday today. Tomorrow's my birthday. Very excited about it. I picked up Charlie this morning. He's gone out with his uncle for a few hours today, which is really nice. And then Charlie and I go down to my family tomorrow till Friday. And then Saturday is the last day of the month. And then Sunday is obviously the start of September. Oh, my tummy's grumbling. And then back to school on Monday for me. So, reading challenge. I've got 9 books to tell you about. As of right now, it's the 27th. I have read 27 books so far this month. However, I feel like I can feel myself struggling. And I said to Charlie the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm hitting a reading wall. I did actually end last week like 634 pages behind, as you can see from my little chart. This was the day we went to London and I read 38 pages total. So yeah, I was behind as of yesterday. I have managed to, not yesterday, Sunday. Yesterday was Monday. I have no idea really what day it is anymore. Yesterday I read a lot and I've managed to catch myself up, and I got up early this morning and was reading as well. So I think I might manage it, but we'll see how the next couple of days go, because it's going to be full of like travelling and family and being in the swimming pool and all that kind of stuff. Because we're going to my aunt and uncle's house and they have a swimming pool, which is obviously the draw for well, he loves just being around them anyway, he loves being there, but the swimming pool was a big draw for him. So we'll see how the next few days go, but at the moment I'm on course. Right, let's talk about books that I finished in the last week or so. I have got, as you've already seen, my trusty blue notebook, because I don't think I can remember what ratings I gave these books. So let's go through this. The first thing that I finished was Sister by Rosamund Lupton. I am going to be rereading 3 hours, I know I said 12 hours, 3 hours by this author in November, which is one of my favourite thrillers of all time, if you can call it a thriller. It's more of a literary fiction with thrilling elements and a social commentary, but you'll see me reread that in November. This was her debut. This is a very beaten up, very, very old copy, you can see it better there, that I found in a charity shop for like £1 a while ago. And so I grabbed it because I love her work. And yeah, this is her debut, and you can tell. And it says on the front, "You're missing, I'm coming to find you." So we're following Beatrice, who gets a phone call in the middle of the night. She lives in New York, and she gets a phone call to say that her sister Tess, who is in London, is missing. And she gets on a plane and she goes to London. And that is all I'm going to tell you about it. As you can see, it is set in winter, so I definitely read it at the wrong time of year. But I gave this 4 stars. I thought this was atmospheric and twisty. I don't think it's anywhere near as clever as 3 hours, but obviously that one comes later, so it makes sense that her writing will have improved. But for a debut, I thought this was really impressive. And if you liked 3 hours, I would suggest you pick this up. If you pick this up and thought it was okay, I would recommend 3 hours, because I feel like you can really see the progression in her writing. But yeah, I gave that 4 stars, flew through it. Lots to say about kind of secrets and lies and family and the bonds between sisters, and the lies we tell ourselves. And it definitely kind of flipped itself on its head at some point. I won't say when, because obviously that's a spoiler. And it's one of those ones where, like, once you get to the end, you then start reflecting on everything in the book, which is what she does in 3 hours as well. And I thought this was clever. So yeah, 4 stars, enjoyed that one. Then I read 30 Things I Love About Myself by Radhika Sanghani. Hopefully I've said that correctly. I do really love this cover. This one I got when I was up with Charlotte, and I had quite high hopes for this one. Is this the order I read them in? No, it's not. We'll come back to that in a second. Before I read Sister, I read First Term and Mallory Towers. This was a reread for me, and I gave all 3 of these 4 stars, because I might as well talk about all 3 now. So I read all 3 of these over the week, kind of interwove them between the others. This is Enid Blyton. It's the series of books set at Mallory Towers. There are 6 in the original series. Well, if you click on, there's like a bit of like cat hair floating around now. If you go on GoodReads, it says that there are 12 in the series. There aren't. There are 6 written by Enid Blyton and 6 written by somebody else after Enid Blyton's death. But these, for me, the original 6, are so nostalgic, and I really enjoyed them, and I'm really hoping to find the second set. So this is the first 3 books. So you've got First Term at Mallory Towers, Second Form at Mallory Towers, and Third Year at Mallory Towers in this one. And I always loved the whole series, but my favourite books were 4, 5 and 6. So I'm really hoping at some point I can grab or find the second bind up, because this is obviously 3 books in one. Can I just say I really hate this edition? I really hate this illustrated version. I'm going to try and find the old ones that I used to read in the 90s. But yeah, I love these stories. They were fun. They've got some really nice messages about basically just being a good person, and they were really easy reads. So yeah, I read those, and like I said, they were kind of interwoven with the others. Going back to this one, this is one that I picked up when I was with Charlotte, and I had really high hopes for this one. In this one, we are following Nina, and we start on her 30th birthday, and she's in a police cell. And she basically decides that she's hit rock bottom and she's going to turn things around. And one of the police officers at the police station, she asked for something to read, so she's got something to do. And the police officer hands her this self-help book, which is all about kind of accepting yourself and loving yourself. And she decides that she's going to write a list of 30 things that she loves about herself and start making some changes in her life. And we follow that process. And I thought this was going to be kind of fun, kind of a like I don't know, like I just thought it was going to be fun and joyful and kind of uplifting and make you feel like you want to cheer her on by the end. And actually, I can't stand Nina. I gave this 3 stars because I thought the writing was, I thought it was well written, and I liked the idea, and I liked a lot of the side characters. But Nina herself was insufferable. I think she was really selfish and annoying, and yeah, if you're not on board with the character, you're not going to enjoy this book. So yeah, it was a 3 star for me. I feel like it's one that'll be quite forgettable. I am glad I picked it up and tried it. But yeah, 3 stars. It was fine. It was a book and I read it. Okay, those were the Devon books. And then I read The Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand, which returns to the world of Shirley Jackson. So my boss at work lent me this. So Elizabeth Hand wrote this book with the permission of the Shirley Jackson Foundation. And we are following character names are not my thing. Holly, who is a playwright, and her and her girlfriend basically stumble across this house, which is Hill House, on a weekend away, and they decide to rent it because Holly's producing a new play or writing a new play, and she needs like a rehearsal space. So the 2 of them plus 2 actors that are going to be in this play with them go to Hill House for 2 weeks to like workshop the play and all that kind of stuff. And obviously because it's Hill House, stuff starts happening, and that's all I can say. I thought this was good. This was creepy and atmospheric. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. And there are definitely some creepy moments. There are a couple of might be jump scares. I mean, they didn't make me jump, but there are a couple of like, this isn't an exact example because obviously it'd be a spoiler, but it's the kind of like face at the window kind of thing. Also, if you're claustrophobic, you might want to avoid this one. There's something that happens to one of the characters where I was like, absolutely not. But I did enjoy this. 4 stars. I didn't connect emotionally with the characters, but I did enjoy it. It was a nice creepy time. It's quite short. It's like 200 odd pages, 250 pages. No, that's a lie. It's like 320 pages. But if you like the original, this very much felt like it could have been written by Shirley Jackson, and it does have the creepy gothic vibes. So yeah, 4 stars. Enjoyed that one. We've got 3 left. These are the ones that I've read over the weekend. So I read The Death of Vivek OJ by Akwaeke Emeze. I think lovely Laura sent me this when I got my new job. Yes, this was from Laura. I love Akwaeke Emeze's writing, and I think this was their debut, but that could be a lie. And basically, we start on the day that Vivek's body is found on his mother finds his body on the doorstep, and then it moves back and forth in time, kind of looking at the wider community, his friends and family, Vivek himself, and who he was and how and why he died. And yeah, I gave this 4 stars. Akwaeke Emeze's writing is gorgeous. They always are flawless in their writing. I think for me it couldn't be any more than a 4 because I just did not connect with the characters. I think it's also partly because it was moving around in time, but without any warnings. You're not really told where you are in time, so it just made it a little bit difficult to get into the rhythm of it. Also, just a content warning for this because I've not seen it as mentioned anywhere. There is an incest storyline at the centre of this story, so just please be aware of that because I was not expecting that going in. So yeah, 4 stars. I'm glad I got to read it. I'm trying to read everything that Akwaeke Emeze has written, and I'm really glad that I got the chance to pick that up and read it. And then yesterday I read The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff, which was shortlisted, I think, for the Women's Prize. Yeah, last year. Oh, sorry, longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. First of all, a moment for the cover. We all know I love a good cover, and that is just stunning with all the hands in and just, oh, I love this cover. In this one, we are following Geeta, who lives in a village in India, and her husband a few years previously has run off and left her, and a rumour goes around the village that she killed him. And this actually gives her a little bit of power, a kind of power that women wouldn't ordinarily have, and she has the freedom to be more independent than a lot of her married friends. And then one day, one of her married friends comes to her and says, "Help me kill my husband, like you did with yours," and it goes from there. I again had really high expectations for some reason with this book. It's another one. Oh, I've got hiccups again. That I picked up when I was with Charlotte. I really thought this was going to be 5 stars, and I gave it 3. I think it's got a lot of really interesting things to say about Indian culture. I learned quite a lot about the caste system, for example. But again, the writing just felt really simplistic, and it didn't feel like, I did not feel connected to the characters. It was just very much a 3-star read all the way through. So I'm still glad I tried it because I've seen it around a lot. But yeah, that was a 3-star for me. And then today I have read the Teddy and Bara Show by Will Tinkham. This came as part of my Your Paper Quest unboxing, which I'll link in the description in case you are interested. I think the discount code probably still works. So you can go and see that if you are interested. This one I gave 3 stars, and this is indie published, self-published. And we're following Teddy and Bara, who meet on their 18th birthdays, and they basically meet in a brothel. Teddy has been dragged there by his employer, and Bara is working as a sex worker in the brothel. And they basically, sort of like a Bonnie and Clyde-ish, they kind of become circus performers, and then they get involved with Al Capone, and it kind of all goes from there. And they have this truck that might be holding something. So I'm trying not to like give too much away, but it's set in the Roaring 20s and just like coming up to the Great Depression. And yeah, it was a really fun premise. I gave it 3 stars because it felt like a first draft, I'll be honest. There was very much tell rather than showing. Show rather than tell. You know, there wasn't enough detail. I didn't feel connected to the characters. And they also didn't feel 18. They felt like they felt like a pair of like children running around doing things. And yeah, 3 stars. I am still glad I got to read it though, but yeah, 3 stars. So yeah, that's the reading so far. I've only had 2 5 stars so far this month, and one of those was a reread of Catching Fire. I have got 4 books left to read. They're over here. You can see that stack there. Oops, why can't I point? There, that's the stack. I've got 4 books left to read. I feel like I could do it, but I guess we'll see, because the next few days, like I said, are going to be really busy. I also brought my deodorant stick down because I realised that I said in my last vlog that I would try it out and let you know. If you haven't seen that vlog, I'll link it below. Oh, it matches my t-shirt perfectly. I've been using Wild, not sponsored, so this is just me trying stuff out. I'm really liking this, really liking it. I was skeptical. So I am someone, and this is probably an overshare, I'm tidying up as I'm talking to you. I am someone who's quite sweaty. Like if I'm using spray deodorants, I use a spray deodorant 2-3 times a day. This is brilliant. I don't have to reapply this at all during the day. I smell really good, I'm not sweaty. Plus it's natural, so I'm not like putting chemicals and stuff onto my skin, and I really like it. So it's a thumbs up from me. The lip balm I am finding a bit grainy. But I will probably get one more refill to try it, because I really like the idea of not using loads of plastic, obviously. I'm also really enjoying the shower gel, smells lovely. But yeah, this I'm really impressed with, and I was skeptical going in. So I've nearly used the peach tea one, and I've got a coconut one, which I'm gonna, not coconut, cucumber and something that I'm going to use for September, and then hopefully they'll release some autumn scents, because that would be exciting. We all know I love an autumn scent. But yeah, really impressed with this, and I'll leave Ali's video with her code and stuff in the description in case you're interested, and I think it's like 20% off, which is worth having. I'll be using that discount when I reorder. Okay, I think that's everything. I've been talking to you for like 20 minutes. Plan for the rest of today, I need to give my house a little bit of a tidy. I was going to do some work stuff, but I still haven't had a timetable, which is not ideal. So I might just sit and read a bit, because I haven't done enough reading this month. And then tomorrow's my birthday. I'm turning 37, so that's very exciting. And I'm going to go down and see my family for a few days and take the boy with me. So yeah, we're coming to the end of the summer, which makes me a bit sad, but there are still plenty of fun things ahead. It's the 31st of August and I'm in a weird mood. I'm not coming in to wrap up the wrap up, as you would probably expect, given that it's the 31st. So there'll be another clip for that in a minute. I'm just kind of coming in to catch you up here on the last couple of days. I had a really good birthday, really lovely time with the family. I had 3 birthday cakes in the end. The boys had done me a cake with some candles in the morning, and then when we went down, my mum had bought me a caterpillar cake, and then my nan had also made one of her amazing chocolate cakes. So there was plenty of cake and presents and a nice takeaway and all of that kind of stuff. And Charlie and I had a really nice chill couple of days down with my family, just walking the dogs, swimming in my aunt and uncle's pool, all of that kind of thing. I saw my dad as well, which was really good. And then we came back yesterday, and like my stress levels have gone from like 0 to 100 from when we got back yesterday, because like my brain has suddenly kicked in that I'm going back to work on Monday and there is just so much to do, and I'm going to be adjusting to a completely different working environment and a way of working and a way of teaching, and there's just all this information to take in, and I'm feeling the stress, so I'm in a bit of a weird mood today. But what I wanted to do, I filmed today, the day I'm filming this, I filmed an unboxing of my birthday presents. Actually, you can see them up there. So there's a little sneak peek, because that video will be coming up in 2 weeks after this, or possibly the week after this. I haven't got decided yet. But I also got some other books from Steph, Ben and Gary I wanted to show you, and obviously I've got some books to wrap up and tell you about. So last time I spoke to you, it was just for my birthday, so let's do birthday books first. So Steph sent me Escape into Cottagecore, Embrace Cozy Countryside Comfort in Your Everyday by Ramona Jones. This is the cutest little book, and it just says in the back, find happiness in the natural world, be fully present where you are, and free yourself from the expectations of others. And this just looks perfect for sort of, oh, look at the end pages, September, October reading. I think I might put this into my October reading, because it would go nicely with the talking recipe book that I'm going to use. But yeah, it's just all mindfulness, home, fashion, gardening, food, outdoor life, herbology, magic and entertainment, culture, entertaining, final thoughts. And I just feel like this is going to be really helpful for me, and probably one that I will tap as well. So she sent me that. She asked who I wanted, and she then in a different conversation, or later in the conversation, mentioned this, and I was like, that looks really cute, I'd very much like that. So she sent that to me for my birthday, which was lovely. We'll do those last. Then my brother sent me 3 books. So he sent me, which is really kind of him, he sent me She Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. If you were watching my channel last year, you'll know that I had an arc for this and I DNF'd it, which I felt bad about because that arc was like gold dust at the time. But I feel like I might be in a better space to read it now. I feel like I might be in a more receptive space now that I'm more of a fantasy reader. So yeah, I love this cover. And that was the first book he sent me. Then he sent me this book, which when I read it, and I say when, not if, it will be the biggest book I think I've ever read. This is London by Edward Rutherford, and look at the size of it. It is 1,300 pages, I think. It is, yes, 1,301 pages. It's a beast. Ben said that he sent this to me because it reminded him of C.J. Sampson's writing style. He wrote the Matthew Shardlake series, and he said it reminded him of that writing style. The text is quite big, to be fair. It's still 1,300 pages, but at some point I will sit and I will have a go at this beast. And then he sent me The New Life by Tom Crew, which is this beautiful, like hardback, naked hardback is this beautiful orange colour. And I think Ben said it's, 2 Victorian marriages, 2 dangerous love affairs, 1 extraordinary partnership. So it's going to be historical fiction. I think it's queer historical fiction. And I'm really intrigued by this. So those were the books from Ben. Then my husband pulled a blinder. I mean, I wasn't even expecting presents from him because he already took me to the Globe, and we went away for a couple of days, but he still got me some bits and pieces, all beautifully wrapped as always. And the final thing that I opened was this. So this is, in case you couldn't tell, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Look how stunning these books are. I'll show you them one at a time, but I love the spines because if you put them all together, obviously it makes the tree. It's just so pretty. Also, I talked about this in the I'm So Annoyed book tag, I think. It's numbered, but look how cleverly. So you know 1, 2, 3, you know the order it goes in. So they are obviously Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, which I love that colour, and The Return of the King. And these are all, they've got maps, They're just really beautiful. And is it going to tell me what edition this is? I think it's a HarperCollins hardback edition. And they are just beautiful. They're going to have their own, they're not going onto my TBR obviously because I've read these, but they will have their own corner on my bookshelf, so I need to work out where to put those. So those are the books that have come in, that I was given. And then I bought 2 books. 2 books are coming because of me. The first of those is a bit of a random one, which is The Ghost of Christmas Paws by Mandy Morton. This is the next book in the number 2 Feline Detective Agency series. This is the next book I need to read, and it's quite hard to find, and I had it on my wish list and it kept going on and off availability. So when I saw it was available, I just grabbed a copy of it. It's not in bad condition. The spine is cracked, but it's not too badly bowed. And I don't think there's any damage to the pages. So that's the next one I'll be reading. I'll be obviously reading that in December. And my pre-order came in yesterday for the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. And it says all it takes is a little bit of sugar and spice. This is the second book. The first one was the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I pre-ordered this about 100 pages into the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is a companion novel to the first one. And it's a romance set in a bookshop. There's a cat. It's autumn. Like, what else do I need? So you'll be seeing me read this very shortly, probably October. Okay, then let's talk about books I've finished. First of all, I had a DNF. This is my first and hopefully only at this point in the game DNF of the month. And that was California Hustle by Jeffrey Messiano. I feel really bad about DNFing this because it was sent to me by Your Paper Quest. This is self-published and I really wanted to like it. And it's about a con artist in the 60s, I want to say, in Las Vegas in America. And like on California beach and all that kind of stuff. But I got like 30 pages in and I just didn't like the writing style. I can't even be specific about what I didn't like. There was just something about the writing I just wasn't connecting. I didn't want to pick it up and I could feel myself skim reading, which is what I don't want to do. So I decided to DNF it. I'm sure there are people that will really enjoy this book. It just didn't work for me. So I had a DNF and then I was having a good look at my shelves because I've been feeling a bit mid about everything that I've been reading. Well, not everything, the last few things I've been reading. And so I was like, right, what am I excited to read? Let's start there. So I decided to kind of put my planned TBR to one side. Well, I had a DNF, so I was like, well, I can fill it with anything I like. So what I decided to do was to pick up A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley, which you saw me haul earlier this month. I pre-ordered this because I was so excited about it and I gave it 5 stars. I loved this book. This is the third in the Glimmer Falls series. The first one starts with The Witch's Guide to Fate Dating a Demon. Then it's A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. And now A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I love this series. This is cozy fantasy romances with a little bit of mild peril and a few bigger topics swirled in there, like mental health, for example. And I absolutely loved this. In this, we were following Ben, who is a werewolf, and he gets drunk one night and he accidentally buys a crystal on eBay. And inside that crystal, tethered to it, is it Eleanor? Yeah, Eleanor, who is a vampire succubus. So succubus is a demon that is attracted to sexual energy, basically, and she's half vampire and half succubus, and she's been chained to this crystal for centuries. And it's all about their relationship, and it kind of just goes from there. I don't want to say too much about it, but I gave it 5 stars. I couldn't put it down. For me, a romance will often get 5 stars if I am in love with both partners. I really liked how conflict was dealt with in this. I really liked how PTSD was discussed in this. I loved how anxiety was discussed in this, and kind of toxic masculinity and the pressure to be a certain way. I love the dynamic between them. I love how they look after each other. I would read like 5 more books about these characters. So it was a 5 star. I absolutely loved it. I'll be very surprised if anything else tops it this month. However, I then went on to a second 5-star read, which was How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. My boss gave me this at work. I went in with like no expectations of this and thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, gave it 5 stars. We are following Tom, who ages really slowly. So he's 449 years old or something, 441 when we meet him. So he's been alive for centuries. And it's just following his life, and certain things he's kind of searching for a certain person and all that kind of stuff, and it's about him through the centuries and some of the historical moments that he was a part of, but it's all tied up in this really kind of thoughtful, beautiful prose that really makes you think. Tom is also, at the time we meet him, he's a history teacher in a secondary school, and some of the stuff that he was saying about being a teacher was making me laugh and nod, and want to like underline it on the page. I didn't, because I don't write books, but I really, really enjoyed this. If you've got this on your shelf and you enjoy historical fiction, sci-fi, because obviously we've got the whole like him aging slowly vibe, it's a bit literary, it's a bit romantic. I really, really enjoyed this and I would recommend it. So that's 5 stars. And then yesterday I read When Harry Was Here by Dustin Thau. This is very kindly sent to me by the publishers. This comes out on the 6th of September, which is why I was reading it in August. I gave this 3.5 stars. I think I missed the point of this. I'm not the target audience. So we're following, what's his name? Eric. And his best friend, we starts off with his best friend's just died. And he's really lost, and then he bumps into this boy, Harry, that he met the summer before, and it kind of goes from there. But it's kind of a question of who or what is Harry. Eric is grieving. There's a lot going on with his family. I thought there was a clever twist in the story that I didn't see coming, and it's beautifully written, but like I said, I couldn't quite get a grip on what the point was by the end. And as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, if I don't really understand what the writer was trying to do, it won't rate that highly with me. So yeah, this was a 3.5. It's very pretty. I do love this cover, and I'm sure there's an audience for it, but for me it was just an okay book. Okay, and then last thing I've got to show you is this colouring page that I've been sent by Book Break, along with some pencils, which is very kind of them. And this comes out the 3rd of April. This is Mia by Danielle Giles, and it just says, the tree itself is large enough to embrace us all. It is the height of 5 or 6 men, bark twisted and knotted, as if some giant has reached down and braided it. The green leaves shine even in the dimness, the red berries hanging within arm's reach. So this looks really intriguing. So this is for me to colour in. That's the actual cover. So I didn't know I was getting this, so thank you very much, Book Break. So I will sit and do that at some point. So yeah, like I said, I'm in a bit of a weird mood today. Kind of that back to school anxiety, anticipation. The weather's taken a real turn. It feels like autumn outside today, which is actually fine by me. I'm kind of ready for it. Also, our washing machine's broken, which has kind of thrown off my usual like chores and the rhythm of stuff. So that's annoying. And tomorrow is the last day of the holiday, which obviously will be in September's vlog, because tomorrow's the 1st of September. So there will be another clip to wrap up the wrap up. At the moment, in case you've been counting, I'm on 30 books finished for August. I have about 200 pages left of The Holiday Something or Other by Heidi Swain to finish. At the moment, I'm too like twitchy to sit down and read, but I'm hoping that this evening, once I've done dinner and had a bath and all that stuff, I'll be able to wind down a bit and finish off that book in time. But we will see if I will make it to 31 books in 31 days. So, did I read 31 books in 31 days? Well, yes, I did. So those were almost all of the books I finished in the month of August. I did finish one more. It's now the start of September, and I'm coming in to wrap up the wrap up. When I last spoke to you, I think I said in the clip, I was in a bit of a weird mood. So I've left it a few days and now I'm back to work, which I'll say for the September vlog. But I just wanted to come in, obviously finish this off. Like, you know, I did read 31 books in August, do some stats and, you know, finish the vlog properly. So this book was book 31. This is The Holiday Escape by Heidi Swain. And this is the only Heidi Swain so far that Charlotte has let me read. She's a massive Heidi Swain fan, but because our taste is so different, she's always like, I don't want you to read her in case you hate her. But this was a standalone. And not one of Heidi Swain's series, which Charlotte really loves. This was really fun. So we're following Ali, who is in her 30s. And does it say? I'm not sure. She kind of gives like, I think it's like mid-30s feel. And she lives with her dad, down in Dorset in this beautiful cottage that they've inherited, and they run it as a B&B, and she feels trapped there. She promised her mum that if anything happened to her mum, she would look after her dad. Her mum's died a few years previously, and Ali's been kind of trapped in this life ever since and feeling like she can't really walk away. So what she does is she goes on holiday for 1 week a year, and while she's away, she takes on a completely different persona. She uses a different name, she has a different wardrobe, and she tries to live the life that she feels like she would have had if she wasn't tied to her dad and the cottage. And on her flight to Barcelona, she meets someone, Logan, and they have a brief fling in Barcelona, and she tells him all kinds of lies about who she is. She's a fake name, and she lies about why she's in Barcelona, all of that stuff to fit in with her usual kind of game that she plays. But then when she gets home, she finds that she has a new guest, and it's Logan, and it kind of goes from there. I gave this 4 stars. I thought this was really charming. It was really fun. It had some kind of deeper themes running through it, obviously themes of grief, but also that feeling of being trapped in your life, and a few other bits and pieces going on. I really like the supporting cast of characters. There's a found family feel. There's some lovely descriptions of food, because her dad's a real keen gardener and chef. I loved all of the kind of B&B vibes. I would love to run a B&B. I feel like I'd be really good at it. So I really enjoyed all of that, and I liked the relationship between Ali and Logan. I think the reason I didn't get 4 stars, it didn't catch me emotionally, and some of it was a little bit, there's like a bit of a mystery partway through, which I won't go into too much. Some of that was a bit convenient. So yeah, but it was a 4 star. I really enjoyed it. Really good end to my month. So thank you very much, Charlotte, for allowing me to read this and sending it my way. So I read 31 books in 31 days. I'm going to film a kind of what I've learnt video, which, if all goes to plan, will come up at the end of September. We will see, because at the time of filming this, we're deep into house viewings. So we'll see how we go, but I'll leave all of that waffle for the September vlog. August, what a month. I've had such a good month. I had a lovely month, obviously, with going on adventures and all the stuff that I was doing in August and being on holiday. I've also had an absolute corker of a reading month, and I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to do a video about it, talking about it specifically, but I really enjoyed the 31. I've read some okay books, I've read some good books, and I've read a few great books, but it's been really nice to have that focus in my day, and it's felt like, for me, like solid gold self-care reading that much. Like, it's really been good for me and my brain, which I'm going to need, because like I said, we're a couple of days into term now and it is already rocky. But yes, I was about to do the wrap up bit. We need to do stats first. So let's talk stats very quickly. My trusty notebook. I've got my August. Obviously, I think I showed you this at the start of the month. I've done a double spread. So that was my tracker that I've used so that I could work out, like, anything dark green was more than 350 pages a day. Anything in light green, there's only one, was 350 pages a day. 349 to 250 was in amber, and then anything less than 250 was in red. So I had 4 of those days. So you can see what my reading spread was like. So I read 31 books, which totaled 10,795 pages. They were all physical reads as well. That's only because I didn't actually happen to finish any audiobooks in the month. And StoryGraph came out at over 11,000 pages, but I think they must have been using different additions to what I'd put in, what I actually had. So I worked it out at 10,795 pages a day, because each book that I read, I log the name of it, page number, and then the star rating. So that was 349 pages per day, which is obviously what I needed to do in order to finish my TBR, so I managed to do that. My average star rating was 3.8, so it was not the best month in terms of ratings. Let me just double check and make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, my reading months tend to be average of about 4 star and upwards. Yeah. I've just had a look at the rest of the year. This is definitely my lowest in terms of star ratings, but only just. And I feel like one of the things I've learned, definitely preview for that video, is I am definitely a DNFer, and there's a couple of books I should definitely have DNF'd in this month. Anyway, my favourite read of the month, I knew I was going to enjoy this book. It's the 3rd book in a series. The other 2 books I've given 4.5, so I've really enjoyed them, but this was a 5 star, and I can't stop thinking about it. And it's A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. So my favourite book of the month is a fantasy romance, spicy fantasy romance. I can't stop thinking about it. I love these two characters equally. I really love the supporting cast. I feel like Sarah Hawley's writing, you can feel like she's kind of relaxed into the world that she's created, and I really love this. I want to reread it already. I'm sad there's not a new one coming. I don't even know if there's any more coming. She at the back of this is a extract from a fantasy novel, fantasy series, which is called Servant of Earth, which I need to look into. But I want more of Glimmer Falls, please and thank you. So yeah, that was definitely my favourite read of the month. I would recommend it, although just be aware it is spicy, so just be aware of that, because I think sometimes with these cute covers you can't always tell, but this one, she's fiery. So yeah, that was my favourite read of the month. My most disappointing, I know there's going to be a few of you that are going to shout at me for this, but I thought this was going to be 5 stars, and I think I gave it a 3, and that was Bandit Queens, and this just didn't do it for me, unfortunately, and I'm really sad, because like I said when I wrap this up, I love this cover, and also I feel like lots of you are going to shout at me for giving it such a low rating, because I know loads of people enjoyed it. It just did not click for me. Then my TBR, so pre-birthday, which you guys will see, the haul video I think is going to come up next. So my TBR was at 16 books, having taken off the 30 books because 2 of them were rereads and then 1 DNF. Anyway, so I had 30 go out and I had 16 left on my TBR, and I was like, amazing. Then my birthday happened, and it's gone up to 32. That's still way below the 50 that I set as my limit for my TBR, and it means I've got some beautiful choice on my shelves. I'm so excited about my bookshelves right now. The oldest book on my TBR is Hits Different, and that's from June, so I'm well within the 6-month boundary that I gave myself at the start of the year. And you don't need to know about my self-count because that's probably not interesting. I had 1 DNF, which was California Hustle, and then for balancing the books, I had 30 go out. I had 8 come in August, like through the month, and then 16 for my birthday because I was so spoiled. So 24 total, which means that I've got 6 more out than in. So that's really good. So I've cleared off loads of stuff off my TBR that had been there for a while and reduced my TBR down. And I've had more books read in August than came in. And the year to date, I have 1 book more read than in. So at the moment I'm just about in the green. So we'll see if we can maintain that. I suspect we won't as we move through the rest of the year. So yeah, August has been an absolute corker of the month. Thank you so much. I have had some really lovely comments on part 1 of this vlog, which lots of you have already seen, and I really, really appreciate every single comment. I do respond to comments. I usually have to wait until the weekend when I've got time to sit and do it, but trust me, I see every single comment pretty much as it comes in, and they always make me so happy. So thank you to everybody who's watched, liked, commented, etc. I appreciate you a lot. Yeah, August has been fun, but now it's into autumn, which I also love. Although like I said, back to school is feeling a little bit rocky this year. Anyway, that's for September. If you got to this point in the video, leave me the sunshine emoji, because we've not had very much of it in the UK this summer. We had some, but we seem to be going very steeply into autumn. So if you leave me a sun emoji, I'll just know that you made it to the end of the video. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.